Welcome to day 32. Today is a pull day. So as of yesterday, I started doing a push, pull, and legs workout where I will do Mondays and Thursdays push. Pulls will be Tuesdays and Fridays, and legs will end up being Wednesday and Saturday to give me more time in between each exercise to help get me to where I need to get. In the long term, I think this will also give me more ability to start capitalizing on some of the more isolated muscles. I'm still going to be performing the compound movements, and those will be my base foundation to start everything, so I can kind of exhaust most of these muscles. And I will work from the larger muscles down to the smaller muscles. On the pull days, let me also specify that push and pull is going to be specific to my upper body. On the pull days, I will be focusing primarily on my back first, then my biceps, my traps, because that is also a pull motion. I'm pulling my shoulders up, and then forearms. Although there is a slight push mechanism if I'm really trying to do the back, or I'm trying to remember what this actual muscle is on your forearm. But this muscle is slightly a push. However, the majority of your action is going to be a pulling motion. You're gripping, you're yanking, you're pulling. This is where most of your fatigue is going to come from. And that is also one of the reasons why I'm going to be starting with these compound movements, because I'm going to be slowly exhausting from the larger muscles to remove those from the group, and then to the point where the forearms are the only muscle being worked if I'm doing it optimally and properly. And that's where we're at. I will tell you, I am exhausted. Once again, I had to do most of my walking an hour right before this, and I've only gotten about 20 minutes of rest. So I'm still a little bit elevated in my heart rate, and we're gonna see how this works out. I'll try to explain the best I can with each exercise I do and why I'm doing it and what's being encompassed, and stick with me. So I'm actually going to be starting with a bent over barbell row. I did actually perform a 30-second hang just to kind of loosen out my back. From the pull-up bar, I am still way too fat to be performing pull-ups yet. I would love to, however, that's going to be something I'm going to be developing. Now, the primary reason why I'm going to be starting with the bent over barbell row is because it's going to get a larger portion of my upper back, my inner back muscles or rhomboids, a little bit of my rear delts, and it's also going to get me that scapula contraction that I'm trying to train to prep for that pull up. Additionally, my next exercise will be a lat pull down, which will help on my lats and help in that bottom movement and the point when you're actually trying to pull yourself up. So I'm basically, there's a large area of muscles, but there's two sets of muscles that I'm really trying to get. And the rhomboids are those muscles that come down right in between your shoulder blades and your shoulder blades and your back, so that I can get those built up to help have me that additional power to pull up. As I kind of discussed yesterday as well, I'm going to be using modified weights, so sometimes you'll see my weight go up, sometimes you'll see my weight go down. It's all based on where I think I'm at and to get myself into a fatigue standpoint. Now, my bent over barbell row position is going to be a little bit lower than normal. Normally you want to be kind of at a slight angle, hinged out, and just slightly at like a 45 when you're pulling it. That will get more of your lats and your entire back. I'm going to be more bent over, not so much to round my back, but because I want to capture more of my upper back, my rear delts, and the upper wide part of my back. Because the lat pull down will get a larger majority of the lower lats and that same area in my back. So I've been working the same areas, but in different ways. Oh, wow. Winded just from doing 10. Like I said, just finishing up doing that walking exercise makes it a little bit more difficult because my heart rate's already elevated. Now, I kind of explained this in my push. However, if you happen to not see my push workout, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to go after the large muscles first. I want them to get the bulk of the growth, but at the same time, I'm trying to also start to incorporate and capture those minor muscle groups in a more isolated way. So I want to start capturing my bicep. I want to start capturing my forearms. I want to start capturing, my shoulders, etc., my traps. But the only way to do that is to train them specifically. They will still get a little bit of work from those other muscle groups, but that's also why I'm trying to pre-exhaust them. Because I don't want them to be the driving factor. If I'm trying to train my bicep, I don't want my back doing all the work. I don't want my shoulders or my traps pulling up. I don't want my grip being the factor. Oh. Allow me to get another set in here. I'm also removing my high volume sets for low volume sets at higher weights. Because I'm also trying to put my muscles into more of a failure mode with fewer sets. So I'm not putting as much wear and tear on my joints. However, there may be days where I fluctuate and I go lower weight, higher reps, or at slightly different angles to try and capture areas I may have weaknesses in. I also kind of explained this yesterday in my push exercises, was that another reason why I'm doing this is I want my body to kind of fail. Because I need to see where my strengths are, what muscles are actually getting activated, where I'm getting soreness, meaning they're getting activated, I'm getting that connection, and what areas are not. So it's going to tell me a few different things, such as where I'm strong, where I'm working efficiently, where I have weaknesses. And maybe I need to spend extra time in certain muscle groups to capture the best possible gain I can. I also kind of mentioned this yesterday, but I figure I'd go over it in case you didn't see it. The whole point of this now is no longer about just strength, just losing weight. I'm trying to incorporate the best and optimal hypertrophic stimulus that I possibly can, or growth-inducing muscle exercises. Because I want to enlarge my muscles, to take in more water, to burn more calories, to have more muscle mass. More muscle mass will in turn burn more calories, meaning I will lose more fat more quickly. That's really what we're trying to capture here. Oh, okay. Last set. Now, depending on how I feel tomorrow or the following day, I'll know a little bit more of how the muscle groups I'm hitting today are being affected. So today I might feel good. Tomorrow, I'm either going to be sore, I'm going to feel good, or I'm going to feel like certain groups, just the muscles just weren't even worked. And that will help me identify what areas I really need to focus on. Oh, sorry for breathing hard. But as I said, my aerobic and walking from prior to this is clearly kicking my butt. Okay. So I'm going to try and do 3 sets of 10 or up to 15 on each one of these exercises. Forearms, I may go more depending on how they feel. Your forearms, your calves, your shoulders are muscle groups that I don't want to say they're fast twitch muscles. I don't know if they're low twitch or fast twitch or slow twitch muscle groups. However, I don't know if it's just the nature of our design as humans. They recover faster. These are muscle groups that are used almost every day in every action you do, so they recover more quickly. That also means it takes more work to get them really, really burnt out or really exhausted. So I may need to do extra work in these areas. Oh. Now I apologize to anyone's ears. If anything does happen, occasionally the weight stack will make a squeal. I don't know why. I've done everything I can to reduce friction, to reduce noise, to make sure. Sometimes it sounds perfect, sometimes it makes it squeak. So I apologize in advance. If so, I will try to cover it up with some other sound. However, we'll see when that time comes. Now, while doing a lat pull down, it's always best to get yourself into a hanging position. Allow your shoulder blades to release. Let them pull out to the side and pull wide. Give your back a good stretch before you actually initiate the move. And then when you do initiate the move, try to pull to the center of your chest. And just slowly let it back out until you get back into that stretch and release position. And let it stretch and release a little bit, kind of like you're hanging from a pull-up bar. Your optimal back growth is actually going to occur in this stretched and lengthened position. And I'm only on the second one. I can already feel muscle fibers in my right lat, right about here. It almost feels like if you've ever like rolled a rubber band over paper or over something where you feel it kind of bounce and twitch a little. That's what it feels like as it releases in my back. Oh, now the other side's starting to open up a little bit too. Oh, this is such a good exercise. I love the feeling of this. I'm not going to lie. This is one of my favorite feeling exercises. The problem is I can't incorporate my full body weight into it yet. And it's not the best for all my core stabilizers, etc. And lastly, I run into the problem of my grip being my weakness, because my forearms are already burning. And oh boy, are they burning. So for my next set, I'm probably going to use straps. Now you should feel it all the way along the side of your back, all the way down to about the middle here. And it feels good. At least for me, it feels great. Now I just gotta remember what I did with my straps. Haven't had to use them in a while. So far on this MacroFactor fitness journey, I am definitely learning about sacrifice. I definitely understand what it means now. You have to put in a lot more effort to achieve your fitness goals than it may look. It looks really easy on TV and watching these videos, but it takes a lot to keep yourself motivated, to keep yourself from allowing yourself to become complacent and comfortable. All I can say is, take comfort in the small wins, and every day that you want to quit and you don't do it, celebrate that, because that means that you won. You won that battle in your head. And the only thing that's going to make this thing go away and get better is one thing. The thing that's getting rid of my fat right now. Consistency. Consistency is what is getting me to where I need to be. So I'm either going to be consistent at being successful in this, or I'm going to be consistent at failing. But I'm going to be consistently doing this every day, except for my one rest day. And if you happen to be doing the same thing, it's the only way you're going to get there. Also, a really good thing you can also do is test different grip widths. Some people like to do it wide. Some people like to do it close. Some people like to do it somewhere in between. Find what grip helps you to be comfortable. Helps you not to give up. Crazy thing is I have these straps and it still feels like my forearms are on fire. My grips are actually giving up. That's why I'm going to try a different wrap here. I really need to get some of them like Versa grips or something. Stuff that can like hook on this thing are really latching good. Because these, they work, but they're really a pain to cinch in. Even when I think I have them cinched in pretty good, they're just kind of there. Which is allowing my grip to fail rather than my back. Oh man, my grip is on fire. Oh, my forearms are burning more than my back. Maybe I'll just deal with the forearms because these aren't working for me right today. I'm sorry, tornado. I'm sorry, buddy. Oh. But, yeah. Find a way to force yourself to be consistent. Find a way to be there every day. Push yourself. Even when you feel like you can't do it anymore, do it. Beyond sacrifice, find a way. That's also kind of the reason why I'm also doing in these other exercises, these other routines. I'm putting in different options, ways to keep myself going. I also have to find additional ways to continue the effort, to push myself to work hard during each session, each set, each rep, even when I'm tired. I think my heart rate right now is at 140. I'm barely doing lat pulls. Don't find yourself in a spot where, I can easily do a set of 10 and just, I'll just keep doing that set of 10 over and over and over and over again, and never push yourself out of your comfort zone. You need to be presenting yourself with that either that intensity, effort, or I'm going to call it high pressure situation where you need to heighten the stakes. Think of it like a game of blackjack. You're not going to keep putting down a blind every single time and then fold. Sometimes you got to be like, okay, cool, I'll check. Sometimes you have to double down. You have to go all in. You have to really, really push it. And there's going to be multiple rounds of that where you're going to have to mentally be prepared to say, hey, yeah, I pushed it here. Were you bluffing yourself? Were you bluffing others? Don't do that unless you know you have that extra in the tank and ready to go when it comes down to it. Oh. Let's try and get this last set. Oh. Because my grip is actually the factor, I'm going to go down to 80s right now. Just to kind of really, really get a little more into the pull. I have heard, and I'm not sure if this is actually true or not. However, I have heard some people recommend if you can't get a full pull, since it really isn't working the muscle in the most stressed position, that even getting to right here and then allowing yourself to go into the stretch. Oh, that popped my back. That felt great. And then just coming as far as you can and allowing that muscle still get a little bit of flexion, and then allowing it to go back in that stretch position. Supposedly it's supposed to be really good for it as well. However, I have not done that. So I can't speak on if it's true or not. However, it is something I have heard. Oh my gosh. Ooh. My forearms are on fire, guys. I thought doing farmer carries throughout the day would help me out with this, and it looks like I'm actually pre-exhausted muscle that's preventing me from really, really exhausting my back. But because I can feel my back getting really, really great tension and stretch, I'm going to assume even though My forearms are definitely kicking my butt on this right now. I still am going to assume I'm going to get that feeling. I haven't been doing lat pull downs that much, except for every now and then instead of 25 at like 60 pounds. We will see what happens tomorrow, as I said. So if you were to look at your back, but from the front, basically this upper section is what I was getting. So if this was my back, this would be my rear delt. This would probably be right around where my scapula would be. And then my traps would be up here. And then right about here would be where my rhomboids are. And then my extensors going to the back. And then my lats would be right here. Well, the first exercise I did, the bent over barbell row, is focused on pretty much these muscles, the rhomboids, up into the traps, the shoulder blades, and the rear delts. Remember, this is my back, not my front right now. The secondary exercise, the lat pull down, is focusing primarily on the lats, or the, I don't know if you can actually see, but that V shape that's starting to get there. That's your latissimus dorsi or something like that. Basically, it goes from basically on the back of your arm all the way down to about halfway down your back. And that's what gives you that nacho Dorito look. That's what I was working out there. So I'm still getting a lot of the rear delt. The rear delt isn't a very large muscle, but it will help your shoulders really pop out. But you get a lot of that on that pulling motion while doing bent over barbell row, and while performing the lat pull down just at a different flexion angle. So, got the larger part of the back now. Now, I'm going to do 2 different sets of curl schemes. Allow me to kind of get this stuff out of the way, and then we'll get into that. So for the biceps, there are several different exercises. All of them are good. You can do an easy curl bar. You can do both biceps in a combo formation. You can do concentration curls and do each one individually, which will be one that I will probably end up doing. You can do preacher curls. You can do, I'm trying to remember what those curls are called over. I think they are preacher curls, but it's like a reverse preacher curl where you have your arm actually down in front hanging. There's many different options. The 2 that I have found for myself to work best are the concentration curl, and I don't even know what to call this, but it's allowing yourself on the bench, allowing just the weight to come behind you so that you're just flexing in here and you're not really even, you're not dealing with so much of you're not dealing with so much of the rest of your muscles taking over. So you see that my arms are now hanging, and all I'm doing is really lifting the weight here, only pretty much using my bicep. And I just want to kind of show you what that is. I grabbed this the wrong weight here.
What you'll notice about this is that I'm keeping the bicep at a stretched and tense position by continuing to hold the weight. And I'm preventing my body from swinging because of the bench. Oh, that burns so good. Oh. Oh.
So that thing is, biceps definitely burning. Forearm is not helping. It's crazy. When I used to wrestle, my forearms were in the shape of my life, and I freaking never had a problem. Kind of had Popeye syndrome, I say, where my forearms were bigger than my biceps and my arm. And now I'm struggling trying to keep grip and hold on to things a lot of times. So what I've been trying to do is, while I'm walking, etc., I take out either 15 or 25 pound dumbbells, and I carry them with me just the whole time, just to try and build up my strength. And you want to try and, if you can safely do it, you want to try and keep them, right around that second joint from your finger. So if you were to take the palm of your hand here, you want it to be sitting and resting in that second joint, so you can kind of cup with your next two phalanges over, the finger sections. You want to be able to just cup that weight and hold it. I think I may have pre-exhausted my my forearms too much doing that, and it's kicking my butt for this exercise. But in the long term, hopefully it will help me to start building up that strength again here, just in that pulling motion, and additionally giving me that strength. Because right now, I can't even describe it. If you've ever touched a pan, and then you're like, oh crap, you dove it too late, because by the time you feel you're already burnt. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting when it starts burning in my forearms. And I know it's just lactic acid buildup, but clearly my mind and this muscle no longer is prepared for that amount of lactic acid, and I need to build up that tolerance again. I need to build up my forearms and to build up that strength again. People who are probably really amazing at this are like rock climbers, people who are used to just using even just that first bit of their weight, because they're holding everything tight. It's probably from this joint to that fingertip, everything is being held by those fingertips, and all the ligaments, it's all forearm strength. Those rock climbers, man, I give you massive respect. You guys have some super strength there. Here we go again. Now, additionally, if you really want to get even more pull and more stress on that bicep, you can even make the incline go even further down if you can handle it. I think my biggest problem is right now I'm just starting again. I don't want to put my bicep through too much of a stretch. I want it to feel that stretch. I want it to be focused on that muscle while performing the exercise. But I also don't want to be at a point where I overextend or I put it through so much stretch and strain that I can't recover in time from it. Also be aware that the lower you go, depending on your arm length and depending on the size of your bench, you could be hitting the floor. You don't want your weight resting on the floor. You want that extra tension in that tense state. I'm just telling you, you're gonna feel it really, really good right there at the bottom of your bicep, and it's gonna feel really good. You want to get mind muscle connection, you will get it really quickly there. So, as I kind of discussed, I focused on the back first. That's a larger area, hitting that. Now I'm going to the bicep, and the question might be, well, why am I doing the bicep now instead of doing my traps, or the muscle that runs from the back of your neck right to the tops of your shoulders? Well, it's really easy while performing trap exercise or a pull movement, if I'm holding the weight, to try and compensate with the biceps, with the forearms. I'm trying to remove all the large muscles as I can because I want those pre-exhausted so they're not the ones firing. We want the muscles we're trying to target to fire, and not the muscles that because they can and they just do. Your body in a natural way is probably going to try and find the path of least resistance, kind of like water. If water is going up against a bank of sand and a bank of solid clay, it's probably going to slowly divert into the sand as the sand starts to give way faster. The same exact thing. Your body's going to find that path of least resistance. And if it feels better, no matter how mental you are, your body at a certain point, when it's truly fatigued, is going to compensate. So when my traps start to give up, my body will try to compensate with the other muscle groups. And I'm trying to basically exhaust those muscles so that they're only incorporated if they absolutely have to be. Meaning that muscle failed and my body saying, oh, I have to compensate, rather than just doing it. Oh, all right. Another nice thing I'm finding from this exercise right here, is that from yesterday's push exercise, I could feel while I'm getting stretched out in my stretcher, I can feel some of that soreness, seeing that I got more tear further down into my pec than I was previously yesterday, which is good, which means I'm starting to get more of, rather than just the large section here down the nipple, I'm actually getting in that tight, balled up area of muscle that helps feed all the rest of that. So hitting and targeting different areas, and I was also getting more work to the chest with less volume by doing alternate exercise. Let me move back so you guys can see this. So for the next exercise, we're going to be focusing on a concentrated curl. Trying to think of best way I could describe this. This is probably like the most commercial slash video slash high school exercise you've probably ever seen. You always see that guy in the kind of thinker's pose, but he's actually got the weight in his hand, he's bringing it up. That's concentration curl. Basically taking my elbow, placing it right inside my knee, allowing the arm being full flexion, just hanging, just using this for support, and then allowing the bicep to come up. Pretty straightforward. For this exercise, I found one way to try and key in to make sure you're in the right area. Once your elbow is into your knee and in the inside of your knee, try and squeeze. Basically, try and think of you're squeezing your shoulder blade down to your hip, and then just lock it in and just hold it there. While doing it, I kind of bend my knees a little bit inward and have my leg kind of flaring out just a little bit. And I primarily do that because I want my arm to continue to hang. You don't ever want to really rest your arm against your leg, which some people can do. You want that to be pushed in a little bit. You want your arm, you want that weight flexing out your bicep while you're doing it. Again, all the stuff I tell you here is based on my body, based on my experience, based on my little bit of knowledge. I'm not a sports medicine doctor. I am not a physical trainer. I am just a fat ass now who used to be a fit ass. And I used to be really into fitness. And I used to be really, really successful at it. And I want to get back there. Because the only fitness I've been doing was fitting this and fitting that into my mouth. And we're trying to repair the damage I've done. It's actually quite amazing though, because I did this damage over probably 20 years since I got out of the military. And seeing how easily I could have fixed this within this 30-day process so far, losing so much and feeling as good as I do now, I should have done this sooner. And I hope that those of you who are out there who are watching this, following along, or that are maybe potentially thinking about doing something similar for yourself, I want you to see it as possible. Never say never. It's never too late. You always have the opportunity. Believe in yourself, even when you think nobody else does. There are people out there that believe in you. And I'm probably one of them. If it wasn't for me believing in others and seeing what they've done, what can be accomplished, and knowing that when you put your mind to it, you can really do anything, I wouldn't be here today, and I would just continue to rot away and allow myself to get to the point where I just can't take care of myself. I can't take care of others. It's all in the mind. I'm not necessarily on, like a David Goggins level. I'm not going to tell you, hey, music's weakness, etc., etc. I am going to say that it's hard. And any kind of help that you can get, as long as it's not cheating, truly cheating, or, taking other supplements that may damage your body, I say go for it. I say every advantage you can take to get yourself in the best shape of your life and get yourself to be healthier, do it. Because life is short. It's meant to be lived. It's not meant to, I know the ultimate outcome is death, but it's not for you to live to die. It's for you to live, and when you die, you die. You want to go out when you die and be able to say that you lived. You want to be able to, you want to leave a legacy. You want to leave something. And I will say, my legacy will probably never be written in stone. My legacy will never be, documented in a book. My legacy will never be something that, will turn into a story or legend in the future. It's not going to be something that everybody's going, oh man, that Adrian, da 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 da, he walked uphill both ways in the snow to work every day, and all the great myths that we've all heard, or wonderful stories throughout our childhood and life. But my legacy will be that seed that I planted in other people's heads. The small memories, that one moment where I helped someone when they needed it. That one time that someone absolutely needed someone and I was there. I don't have to be there in person. Sometimes all someone needs is someone to listen to them. All someone needs is for someone to be that last drop of when their cup is full of nothing but doubts and nothing but I can't do this, I can't accomplish it, nothing but all those dreams they had that they just couldn't get. You just need to be that one drop. That one drop that causes the water tension on the top to break and the water starts to pour out. They'll remember that moment. They'll remember that moment when finally the stars aligned and everything worked out. And the only thing they're going to have to remember is what choices they make at that point. Because you always have a choice. I could choose to be like, finally that opportunity came, or I kept saying, hey, I'm going to work out, I'm going to diet, I'm going to do this. And I kept saying, hey, yeah, I'm going to do this, and I'll record it, and I want to make sure that everybody can see that, hey, it can be done. And 3 months later, what am I doing? Sitting on the couch eating TV, or eating pizza, watching TV. If I was eating TV, that would be pretty damn hilarious. But sure enough, there I was. In the back of my head, I wanted to do it, but it wasn't a forethought in my mind. And all it took was someone to say, hey, someone that I had looked up to, someone that I respected, someone that I believe they're trying to do the betterment for the fitness community and for those who are trying to get healthy in Jeff Nippard's challenge. Just took that spark and said, hey, I'm going to have a challenge here. And the funny thing was that it wasn't even the money. It was the whole factor of, hey, someone else, without knowing me, without knowing a dang thing, is basically saying, hey, I believe you can do it. Here's your challenge. Here's your chance. Show it to us. So, that's what we're going to do. We're not proving it just to ourselves, to our family members, to our friends, to those around us. It's to the future generations, to the kids, to the parents, to your siblings, your peers, people around you that may also be quietly contemplating similar things and be struggling with the same battles. It's your opportunity to show them that it's possible. It's your opportunity to show them how easy it can be if they just put their mind to it. And I know I say it's easy, and it probably doesn't sound easy, and it probably doesn't look easy, and it really doesn't feel easy. But every single day, that's done, that's passed, I realize how it is. It is easy in the grand scheme of things. In comparison to what I had to do. understand that we're now where we need to be. We are now at the point where it's put up or shut up, right? I can tell people, oh, you can do this, you can do that, and all your dreams will come true. We live in a society of show me. We live in a society of I want proof. Well, there's a lot of scams out there. There's a lot of liars. There's a lot of people who just, I hate to say this, it goes back to earlier when I was talking about sacrifice. They're undisciplined. You have to be willing to go. You have to be willing to say, hey, look, I know I'm going on a journey, and guess what? It's a muddy freaking road. And you want to see rainbows at the end. Well, guess what? You want the rain, you want the rainbows, you got to deal with the mud. Sometimes you got to get dirty. And sometimes the mud's going to be this thick. Sometimes it's going to be up to here. Sometimes you're going to be crawling and you're going to be fighting with every ounce you have left. But that discipline, that consistency, the mentality and mindset to keep pushing is what's going to get you through this. And at the end of it, you're going to come out stronger mentally, stronger physically, and stronger spiritually, I believe. Because I will tell you that when you are healthy, I don't care what anybody says, at least for me, again, this is my opinion, I feel closer to the world. I feel closer to myself. I feel closer to God. Now, if you don't believe in God, that's fine. But celestial being, whatever, you will feel a lightness, not just in your physical form, but in your own soul. You will feel that. You'll feel a wonderful sense of accomplishment. What do you do when the scale doesn't go down? What do you do when the inches don't come off? What do you do when you're doing everything and it's just not getting there? Do you turn around, walk away? No, you keep going. You need to be able to see the future and be able to see it and say, this is my goal, this is my end destination, this is where I'm going. And nothing's going to get in my way. And I mean that. Nothing is going to get in my way. You need to be able to tell yourself, and I mean that yourself because nobody else can dictate this to you, but you need to be able to tell yourself that no one, including yourself, is going to stop yourself. So that once you have that goal in mind, you can see it and it's clear as day and it's crystal clear. It's like an alarm clock that's sitting there beeping. Beep, 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 flashing red. And you see that goal right in front of you. What do you want to do? Same damn thing I want to do every single morning. I want to shut that damn thing off. Well, the only way to get there and shut it off is by going there. If there's a wall, break through it. If there's a mountain, climb over it. If there's a ditch, fill it, find a freaking way to get across. Just don't be the guy who's mining for diamonds and mining and mining and mining and mining and mining and mining. He's doing all this effort for all this work and then just being like, whatever, turn around. And had he just gone an extra inch, he would have broke through it and found those diamonds. Don't be that person. So, for traps, we used to do an exercise where we'd actually pull the traps up and pull it in. That always hurt my shoulder blades, my actual shoulders. So I'm not going to be doing that. I'm actually going to be just doing a standard barbell row, or barbell shrug, I guess you know what you call it. I'm literally going to be taking the weight and hitting it then trying to pull my shoulders up. That's all I'm going to do for traps. This may not be optimal, but there may be other exercises. However, as I said, the exercise I was trained to do a long time ago was this. It was basically pull the bar up to your chest while trying to squeeze your traps. I'm not doing that. That always hurt me. So what we're going to do today is just basically a shrug, and we're going to try and do 3 sets of 10 of those. Now, your traps can pull up a lot more weight than you may think they can. So that's kind of why I'm leaving a lot of weight on here. Kind of like your calves. Okay. Well, I definitely feel my neck pulling. Almost feels like a tension headache, but I know it's the muscle and that pulling back. Oh. So basically what I'm trying to do is while holding that weight, I'm squeezing my shoulders up to the top of my neck. So I know my spine is not moving, it is, my shoulders going up. Allowing my traps to pull in. Also, one thing I talked about yesterday, that I'll talk about again today. Another reason why I went to this push-pull leg split, beyond just the, involving additional muscles, I'm trying to, fully get my body there. I'm trying to gain more of the recovery state, so I have more 2-day time periods of rest and recovery between each exercise, as well as I can get more in depth and hopefully more strength in each area. And ultimately, I hope this will actually lead to more growth. And I'm working with set weights today, as I did yesterday. They may be light, they may be heavy, depending on what I use for each exercise. These are just baseline weights. Like yesterday I started with, I'm trying to remember. Yesterday I believe I started with 95 pounds. Today I'm working with 115. My back and these muscles, I believe, can handle more weight. I could have done the exact same thing in the chest. However, it's me trying to feel where my chest is going to fall off. I actually did fall short on 2 reps. Wasn't so much due to exhaustion in my chest. I actually had a weakness area in my tricep, which my tricep was trying to compensate. I'm trying to strengthen up these other muscles so that as I do start to push towards strength goals, as I do start pushing myself harder on certain exercises to have my normal working weight, so that I can slowly progress, so that I kind of know where I'm at in the proper weight, meaning that I'm getting good muscle fill, I'm getting good, I want to say positive soreness is the best way I can say. I don't want to have DOMs to the point where I can't work out, or delayed onset muscle soreness. I want to have a soreness where I know that the muscle was worked, was the time was valued, and that I'm getting the optimal growth from that. And as I said, about the time valued, additionally, by going to these exercises, my workouts will shorten. These first couple workouts are going to be longer because I'm explaining, I'm going through and actually having a discussion with you about why I'm doing each exercise, kind of sometimes explaining how I'm doing exercise and why, but I'm doing that because this is my starting point. And I want you to understand why I'm going through this. And as I start to move into this, my workout should go from being 2 hours long to about 45 minutes to an hour per workout session to help benefit me, and hopefully, give me more time with my family rather than just spending all day working out. Now, I would spend all day working out if I could. However, I have a job. I have many dogs. I have my wife. Uh, if you can't tell by this, I'm a gamer. So I have things in my life that I also am saying, hey, these are also important to me. And I'm not giving everything up. So that means I need to make sacrifices. I need to find ways to have time. Um, I know one way is I could just stop sleeping. However, that's not going to be optimal. Because then I'm not going to get the muscle growth I need, and I'm also probably going to go into more of a catabolic state. I'll start destroying my muscles, and this whole would be pointless. So, so that is kind of where this is all coming from, why I'm getting into the change. Another thing I mentioned yesterday was that I'm not so much focused on my strength goals anymore. I want to be able to achieve those goals. However, within the 100 days, I don't see myself hitting those goals. And I don't think they're as important right now as me getting myself into shape, back into a healthy body, healthy mindset, and making sure that I stay consistent with my diet and exercise. If I do happen to get to that strength value, awesome. That would be awesome. However, that is not my push right now. Oh. Oh. The most important thing right now is to get myself back into good shape, prepare myself for next year where it will really be a new me. And I want to be able to live a long, healthy life. My grandmother lived till she was, my great grandmother lived till she was 105, or actually 108, I believe. My grandma lived to be 98, and I'm sure she could have lived longer, just luck of the dice. My aunt Esther lived to be 100 something. I also want to go into those hundreds. I want to be a skinny sack of bones, making everybody miserable. Get off my lawn and get over here, Sonny, or little girl. I want to be that crazy old man. I want to be a nightmare to people as an old person. I'm just kidding. But I do. I want to live for a long time. I'm hopeful that the wisdom that's been shared with me throughout my life, I'll be able to share in one way or another. So that's kind of why I'm here, and I'm going to push myself to be better. All right. So that's it for traps. Now we get into the forms. There are multiple different exercises we can do. Oh, sorry, I'm a little winded here still. Now, I can either take the bench, flatten it out, bring this back down, and perform an exercise where I allow the bar to roll down into my fingertips and pull back up, which is what I've done most of my life. I can also take the dumbbells and allow them to, while resting on something, allow them to roll down on my fingers, let it get stretch, pull it back up, do the exact same thing. Or I can also use, I don't know what it's officially called, I always call it the arm blaster, where you take weights and you turn, and you turn, and you turn, and you turn, which is using your forearm, also your, I cannot remember what this muscle is called. I am so sorry. And I guess we're going to figure out which one we're going to do today. I think this might be optimal here. Sorry, you're not going to get a really good angle of this. However, just understand my arm is basically going to be here, flat on the bench, locked out, allowing my wrist to go all the way down. Fingertips are going to pull back up, which should cause all this to flex in both arms. Sorry, watch, you're going to come off while I'm doing this. Yeah, that's going to be too much to do that with. Just a little too much. Sadly, this bench is about, I want to say, half an inch shorter than my other one was, which now means that I can't really get a good angle without this actually resting on the ground. So we're gonna get really released in here. I will say, just from the little bit of exercise I've already started to do, definitely getting a little bit fuller of a forearm already. And I'm actually getting a little bit of a line here in both my arms, which is nice. It means I'm getting a little bit of separation and definition. I just want the strength now. What's even crazier is I haven't seen these veins in forever. I think since I was maybe about 25. Hopefully I can get them to actually start to pop up to the surface everywhere. Get a little bit of vascularity. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. I will do my last set probably offline so that way I can actually start and try and hit a few hypers just with weights over the stool back there. Thank you for coming along and watching what my pull exercise is. Stay safe, stay happy, and stay who you are. Peace.